Hello, my beautifuls. Welcome to 1111 True Crime. You got Mama D here, and we're going to be talking about Idaho 4 case today. Now, there was a hearing. I'll just tell you, I didn't learn anything from it. To me, it was a big waste of time. So I'm just moving on. And I think we need to break down what evidence that the prosecution claims to have, or in this case, not have. One of the things that they do not have, according to the PCA, is anything on Brian and his phone from 3 o'clock a.m. till 5 o'clock a.m. So it doesn't put him in the area. It doesn't put him anywhere. The law enforcement themselves, LE, are stating in the PCA that they can't put Brian anywhere using his phone at the time of the murders because they have nothing. He wasn't even pinging on a network, so he could technically be anywhere and still get back home at that time. So really, I wanted to just show you that because who cares where the suspect was hours before crime and hours after when it's a small town, a very small town. And they only have a couple of towers. The two towns are so close that everybody goes back and forth to both. So it would be natural for him to be in the area. Heck, he only lives 9 miles away from the 1122 King Road. So I don't have a lot to show you because there is nothing. LE have nothing. But I am going to talk about the PCA with you. We're going to read it ourselves. And we're going to discuss it. Today is just kind of an open forum. I want your opinion, and I can't wait to be with you. Now, before we get into showing you the PCA and all that good stuff, just a couple channel announcements, very important. Number one, I guess with us getting to the point we've got 27,000 subscribers, we also are attracting scammers. So you need to know I personally will, and nobody representing me will ever contact you through a text or any way, even email in any way, and ask you for a dime. Nothing. I never have, and I never will. So if somebody texts you or emails you stating they're me or 1111 True Crime, they're not. They're not. Not if they're asking you for money, because I've never asked any of you for money, and I won't start. So I just wanted to say that real quick. And then the second thing is, if you are interested in becoming a part of our giveaway, we have this a digital video camera. And it's our DVC giveaway. And when we hit 30,000 subscribers, which we're well on our way to, like we just hit 27,000, and overnight we're already climbing up. This absolutely beautiful camera, you'll have to stay tuned, find out how you can get the details, how to become part of that giveaway. All you need to be is a subscriber, and we'll go over the details and all of that a little bit later. For now, I'm going to come over to chat. I want to say hello, a special shout out to my beautiful Starlight Seeds. Hello, my lovelies. I messed up my mic. Just thank you so much for being members. You support the channel, and I greatly appreciate that. We all do. And so we're going to be doing a Members Live once a week, and this is one of those. And then I want to say hello and welcome to everybody in the 1111 family. We love you. You'll be able to put your comments down below. You'll be able to view the video. It's just the live chat is reserved for those today, and in the future when we do the members live for them to be able to use their perks, right? And have more of a one-on-one conversation. And so with that, let's see who we have here today. Hey, Jenny Bill. Hey, Jennifer Swain. Hello, Mr. S. How are you all? Thank you for modding today. And welcome all of you. Hi, Tina and Fallon and S. Stilson. You say, did you see Nancy Grace interview? Someone wrote a book. Y'all, I bought the dang book. I can't help it. It's on order. It's coming in. We got the Mr. B book. We're going to be looking at it because I think he's poisoning the jury pool. I really do. Howard Bloom has written a book about the Idaho 4. We haven't went to trial. I've never in my life seen a case where the crime scene is demolished before we even have a trial date, where all the victims, all of them, are cremated, so there's no exhuming and comparing anything there, where we don't even have DNA crossing between the victim and the attacker ever in the crime. And the suspect, Mr. Kohberger, didn't leave that home with one bit, zero, nothing, nada, not even a trace bit of evidence that he was even ever at the location, let alone took out 4 in a bloody massacre, because I can't call it a stabbing when we know it's been more than clearly stated by the family members, by the coroner, and by others that it was huge open gouges, not stabbing. So if you have a K-bar knife, why wouldn't you stab with it if that's your choice of weapon and you're this nefarious, horrible person going to commit this crime? What are your thoughts? Who do we got with us? Ro, hello. Hi, Fallon, and thank you all for hitting like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Just so you know, if you are a troll and you want to share my video and not do your own work, I have embedded copyrighted music. So feel free to take that on. Just saying. Mr. If says, yes, this is wild. You're welcome, Chickbait. Hello, Chickbait. Didn't see you, but happy to have you with us. Welcome, D. Dobson, to Starlights. We're always happy to have a new member. Hey, Jay, you say, no way. He should have been allowed to write that book before the trial. So we get into this freedom of speech. But at the same time, how much freedom do we have? I guess they're thinking that because there's a gag order that he can't possibly get any critical court details that would jeopardize the case. So I'm not sure if I would say he shouldn't be allowed to write it, because I don't ever want to infringe on somebody's freedom of speech. I mean, that's the bare fact. If we start telling somebody you can't write a book before trial, then pretty soon you can't talk about the case before trial. We're all like, and nobody can talk. So I can't say that. But what we can do is we can go up on a debate with Howard and pull his book apart. And I mean, I am going to tear this book up with you when we get it. I was like, do we give him the money? And you know what? I decided it's worth a few dollars to see what we can do with it. That's just my humble opinion. And so I bought the book. It's on its way. I checked today. It's being delivered in the next couple days. Jenny Bill says, I've been researching Howard Bloom, reading comments on the channels that are covering book like 100 Factual Truth. What a mess, and already hella mess in my opinion. Well, that's one thing I want to find out. Now let's jump over to Movie Screen And yeah, get our fair use out of the way. This is to let you know everything we share here is alleged. It is my opinion, or it is the exclusive opinion of the person that is posting the information. Even if I read it, I don't necessarily agree, but I want to share everybody's opinion. And so don't take things as fact here. Do your own research. All right, my lovelies, let's get off the fair use. Now, I can't make this any bigger for you. I would have a heck of a time doing it. So, this is the PCA. What page are we on? Page 12 is the first time that I really got the understanding of when the phone is even mentioned in the PCA, really. There's a little bit on the 11, on page 11. I think it is. We'll read it. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilized cellular towers in close proximity to King Road residents on November 13, 2022, between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. After determining that Kohberger was associated to both the 2015 white Hyundai Elantra, or it says white Elantra, and the 8458 phone, investigators review the search returns. So forget about the car for a minute because they're not the same. I can go a lot of places with my car and not my phone, and vice versa. I can go all kinds of places with my phone and not take my car. They're not connected. So it's interesting that it says right here, the big boom for the whole video. That's all I got. But it's the biggest boom in this case when it comes to the phone, Kohberger's phone. This is actually law enforcement. This is Brett Payne's own words. This is his sworn affidavit that he can never go back on. And that is this. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns, the search warrants he's talking about, did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cell tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. And my question is, because let's face it, if you've been on my channel for a while, you know I believe that LE is literally framing Kohberger as a patsy. I started to believe that a long time ago. And so if that is true, I want you to reread this last statement with me. And then let's ask the correct question. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. So the big question is, did it show Kohberger somewhere else? Just because it didn't show up on your turf doesn't mean that it didn't show up somewhere else. We're dealing with 2 hours. So an hour there and an hour back, wherever it may be, could show it somewhere else. Also, Cy Ray, who is an expert that will be a witness for the defense and has already had a hearing, has made it abundantly clear that the very critical information, which I believe is this 3 to 5 a.m. time frame, he doesn't have it. The defense doesn't have it. That's what they're still waiting on. So if you don't have it, you don't know where Kohberger was between 3 and 5. So you want us to take a giant leap of faith and just say, well, he must have been at the 1122 King Road and shut his phone off. When a lot of the locals have clarified quite seriously, and it is provable, that there are dead zones at the Waya Waya Park. There are dead zones in many locations within the Moscow area. Now, from my understanding, Ann Taylor, the defense, has stated that Brian was nowhere near the King Road home. In fact, I believe she's trying to establish, and will in the near future, that Brian Kohberger didn't even enter Moscow during the times of the crime. But it does go on to say in the PCA, hold on, I think it's around 5 o'clock that afternoon. I should have had this cut out for you. 5:27 a.m. It shows that it is estimated location and travel. The 8458 phone travel is consistent of that of a white. See, it is consistent. It's like you can't rule it out. But we have a man's life on the line. See, at approximately 5:30 a.m., I'm up here. The 8458 phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington. At approximately 2:47, the phone stops reporting. Well, he left his house at 2:47 or at 2:42. So Kohberger's phone stops reporting 5 minutes after he's away from his house. So how did they know where he was? How did they get a probable cause on that? Let's see what you have to say. I'm jumping over to chat. Jennifer Swain said BK had a hearing today, and June 2025 is the start of the trial, is what they're saying, what they're hoping, right? Right? Mr. If says, I'm wondering if there will be justice for Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana. I do too. I do too. Welcome to new members. There you go. Hello, Tina Lovely. You say, just like Canton PD are trying to frame Karen Reed and using her as a patsy, in my opinion. So I'm glad you brought that up, Tina. I studied the case with you a little bit about Sandra Birchmore. And we're going to do a deep dive because I just need to. And when I went to do my research, I fell in to the largest boom I've ever fallen into in my life. I've been working on her case now for about a week behind the scenes. And this opens up to something that is absolutely going to leave you numb and speechless. I don't think many people that have studied her case have went deep enough to see this connection. But you're just going to have to ride along with me. That'll be coming when it's ready. I'm not going to hurry it. It goes far above Karen Reed. It goes far beyond Sandra Birchmore, and it is going to absolutely floor you. So, it really, I'm tempted to break it out on my other channel because this is a lot of corruption, and I don't want to get shadow banned or anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's naming the officers and what they've done, and it gets bad. It's not just with Sandra Birchmore. It's not just Karen Reed. It's all over. Yeah. Wolf Angel says, I don't get it. How are they even setting a trial date? They've admitted that they have nothing. And what they had, they didn't save. We've seen the videos out there, and those show exactly what's up. Good points. Summer Snow. Good day, Mama D. All Ellie has is 1, a car, 2, a phone, 3, a pitiful PCA. They don't really even got a car. They don't really got a phone. The car, we have no idea. Out of 22,000 white Hyundai Elantras, whose that was. And the phone was allegedly shut off. I believe it was out of battery. I think it was on the charger. 3 to 5 a.m. is about the time that mine would go dead if I didn't have it on the charger, I assure you. So that leaves the DNA on the sheath. And if you go back to what I'm telling you, big open gouges doesn't fit a K-bar in my opinion. And even more so that doesn't fit a K-bar is the coroner herself said big open gouges, not stab wounds. So if it's not stab wounds, how did they come up with a K-bar? I don't know. I don't really have another channel right now. So naturally, I appreciate that. I had one and I started covering the Karen Reed trial, and I didn't do commentary. I just played the trial, and YouTube demonetized me like that and was like, don't do it again. So that little channel's just kind of floating over there. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Oh, Winnie and Lovey are your dogs? That's so sweet. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Chickbait says, more than one weapon. Sheath is a red herring, in my opinion. And I wonder, you guys, I brought it up before. Do you believe, or have you asked yourself this question? Does the sheath belong to a K-bar knife that one of the victims owned and was pulling it out of self-defense? Just asking. You would like to know Bloom's sources? Me too, Jennifer Swain. That's another reason I am purchasing the book, because I don't want it hearsay when it's already hearsay, because then it makes it much worse for me. So I want to see literally what the heck is being said. I want to know what he's getting out there and poisoning people's minds with, because that's, face it, the suspect has not went to trial. Howard Bloom, in my personal opinion, is targeting Kohberger, claiming that he knows the intimate details of what took place between Brian and his dad, while his dad discovered that Kohberger may have committed the crimes. Mr. B even alleges that, in a sense, he made it feel like he was implying that the officer that pulled him over and was like, where are you guys headed? That the dad hurriedly reported that there was a mass shooting back in Pullman. And it was almost like an astonishing remark, because the dad's starting to pull all the pieces together. Really? He also made the claim that the reason Kohberger wasn't caught before he went to Pennsylvania was because they had the wrong year of the car, and that's why Kohberger eluded them for so long. Yet he states in the same breath the FBI had their eyes on Kohberger before anybody else realized it. Which way is it, Howard? I mean, you can only use so many adjectives to confuse people, but they're going to boil down your message. They either knew who he was and was tracking him, or there was an error and they didn't understand it was a completely different year of the car. When I don't even understand that, I still don't know if a car was used. Was a car used in the crime? Or was this committed by somebody in walking distance of 1122 King Road? What do you think? What do you think? Jenny says, I'm here, but I'm currently working. Keep going, lovely. It is good to see what's written. And I mean, face it, what are you going to do if you do not have anything on your suspect for the time of the crime on their phone? What the hell good is anything before it or after it if he's going to be basically in the area? He lives in the area. So you got nothing. Of course he's going to ping on his phone by his apartment before and after. If he went out for a cup of joe, if he went out to just go riding around, driving around and listening to music in the mountains or whatever it is around there, I'm just saying, you got nothing. And you say it that you got nothing. A whole lot of nothing. I don't even see why they need Ray. What are they going to say to the jury? Between 3 and 5 o'clock, we don't know where the hell Kohberger was, but that is when the crimes took place. And so our best guess is that he was likely at the 1122 King Road. But they can never say his phone puts him there, because it doesn't. It just doesn't. His phone is worthless to the prosecution, but it might be of evidentiary value to the defense if Ray is right and his suspicions and his hunch are that he can prove Kohberger wasn't in Moscow. That would be brilliant. Hey, Joyful, good to see you. No planted. I don't know what that means, lovely. Good to see you, sweetheart. So, it's going to be a short live today. I was hoping that we would have a whole bunch to talk about on top of this because of the trial. The hearing, sorry, about the trial date, but it was a whole bunch of nothingness. Just a whole bunch of nothingness. Kind of like the PCA. I do want to take this minute to kind of get you ready for the Sandra Birchmore case. All right? 23-year-old in 2021 who is allegedly groomed by 3 officers, actually 4 officers, in a law enforcement LE Explorer program for those that would like to possibly become part of the force as they get to be adults. And what is that connected to? Who runs that Explorer program? And what happened to Sarah Birchman? Well, I'll tell you, she was 3 months pregnant and she was found unalived in her apartment. I say unalived because the same people that investigated John O'Keefe's murder in the Karen Reed trial, the same DA investigated Sandra Birchmore's case and her death and said it was a self-inflicted hanging. However, that didn't hold water too long. Now we have a whole bunch of civil cases big, big, big wrongful death complaint accusations against all kinds of law enforcements, right? And there's federal FBI investigation and Secret Service investigation and a pathologist that has reviewed it and now says they do not believe that Sandra Birchmore was self-inflicted at all. In fact, they believe that it was manual strangulation. Now, what's interesting is the last person to see her alive, Matthew Farwell, the very officer that she met when she was 13, allegedly groomed till she was 15, and then allegedly began inappropriate sexual relationships where there's digital and imagery, kind of like Steven Stern's communication between her and Matthew Farwell. Now, he had a twin brother, and guess what? You got it. He was in law enforcement, and he did the same alleged naughty deed to Sarah, too. Sexual assault after sexual assault is being alleged by the family while the federal investigation is going on. But when I began to dig even deeper, I found out that Sarah's case isn't alone. OMG, like what? So, now, we're going to get into the last footage of Sarah and everything tomorrow. And I really would like you to go along with this because if you've got grandkids or you have kids, you need to learn what I found out because this is going to blow your mind. It did me. And this is like, there's paperwork to back it. It's not a rumor. But that's out tomorrow. It's the worst case and the largest amount of youth over time that I personally have heard about since the Catholic Church. Just saying. Just saying. Let me clear chat. Thank you so much, Jennifer Swain. You are so generous and kind. Thank you, lovely. I appreciate that snooper chat. We will definitely put it to good use. Sorry, I had to grab a drink. It's like 150,000 degrees. You feel that the PCA, Ro? Are you talking about junk writing in your opinion? Are you talking about the PCA in the Idaho case? Yes, they need to be charged with her unaliving, in my opinion, too, Ro. I can't wait to get over into the case because you are going to, I know you, you're like me, and you want justice. And when you find out how abused this little young one was and grew up being groomed and handed around, passed around, what? Then she gets pregnant. Now check it out. What if I told you that the Boy Scouts are the one that oversee the Explorer program? And that gets investigated. And it's really quiet. Have you heard what happened? Or has it been hushed under the rug? It's time to expose some serious corruption. And we're going to do it. Fallon says Canton is quickly becoming Moscow, Idaho. Oh, you have no idea. I dug up paperwork on these guys that goes back 10 years. And you're going to be like, what in the hell was this man in charge of any type of program with children? let alone working for the school too. Hmm. Yep, Fallon's right. The dad of the baby, allegedly, is the married cop, Matthew Farwell. So the day his wife goes in to give birth in the hospital of a baby, Sarah, who's 3 months pregnant, allegedly with his child, he goes to visit her. He claimed they had a nasty argument. He's the last one to see her, and she's found hung. Just saying. Mr. If says it's hot in Alaska too. We have some fires burning. I did hear that. I did. Welcome back, Jenny. Welcome back. But like I said, Fallon wasn't. She was 13, Jenny. 13 years old when he started grooming her and allegedly began sexual relationships with her at 15. Which, if true, would be statutory rape under Massachusetts because their law is you cannot give consent unless you are 16 or older. So, it's going to be interesting. Fallon says, thank you, Mama D, for covering and uncovering all this. It's risky because I don't fear from those faraway Massachusetts police or anything like that. It's risky because to uncover corruption and SA and children, our platform has a sensory. They have community guidelines that they want me to follow. And it's very hard to communicate such aggressive, wicked assault on a child and communicate it intelligently when I have to spell half the words or use replacement words. But I don't care what we got to do, we're going to do it. Like I said, I ordered the book, so we have Howard Bloom's book. It should be here tomorrow, and we're going to be breaking it down. I mean, like tearing it up. And then we're going to be deep diving. Like I said, I want to thoroughly finish my research. I've got the paperwork. I've got all the knowledge. I've got all the research. But I want to put it into a story to be able to share Sandra Birchmar's story properly and to do her justice in what I've learned. And then also, she's not the only victim. There are so many. You wait. It's heartbreaking. It kind of took my breath away. And I thought about it, and I'm like, here we are trying to uncover, a couple loose cannons, and be like, okay, they're the ones that are corrupt. We'll punish these. And I find out that it's lots of them. And I'm like, I can't do anything with it, but get the info out there, uncover it, get it in the light, and just, go from there. Wolf Angel says, I believe someone needs to do a deep dive into the Greek life and the university. This is so corrupt all the way to the top, in my opinion. I agree with you. I dove into Mr. Green. I dove into the university. I brought you information where just a few years ago, there was a professor and she was trying to question, where all the funding was going to in the university. Like, they didn't have the funding for this and this, but they were getting funding for it. And so she started questioning it. The college kids started questioning it. Well, she was then demonized, monstered, right, in the media. And they put out bulletins that she might be armed and dangerous and couldn't even get on to the property. And it was just a effing joke what they did to her because she had the audacity to question the university about where their grants and funds were. Well, I don't work for the university. Where the 800,000 or however much you got for the memorial go? Because it's summer. Where is it? Where's all the money that the hard working citizens, we the people, sent the university in honor of Santa, Ethan, Maddie, and Kaylee? Where'd that money go? It's not being used that we can see. Did you use that money to destroy the evidence prior to trial? And why would you need to do that? You can't erase the slaughter of 4 innocent lives. It won't work. You don't have a big enough eraser. You just don't. Lorna says, if there are a lot of them, that's why they lie and cover up for each other, as per Karen's defense says, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. For real. For real. Willow's mom says, I'm just joining, so if my last comment was left field, I apologize. Well, welcome back, Willow's mama. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Jenny Love is asking what case we are speaking of. So I'm flip-flopping today. We're going to be working tomorrow. Well, it might be tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. Soon, very, very soon, we're going to cover Sandra Birchmore and the Explorers Program case because whatever, I can't. I'm just like, this has got to be like really, truly exposed. No fun and games on that case at all. What I'm going to be sharing with you is going to make you question your community and everything you know about these youthful programs. I'm just saying, it did me. Willow's mama says, I've heard that his book and writing is very different, so that's absolutely interesting to me. We'll find out, right? Well, if Angel Wow hadn't heard that, yep, they will go at no length to shut everyone up. You got the book too, Jennyville? You can read it with me, right? It is a heavy case, Mr. F's. It is. I just need to get into it. And I suppose what really needs to happen is not perfect it, but just get the info out there. So I'll do my best in the next, either tomorrow or the next day. I'll get my stuff together, my little ducks in a row, and I'll try to present it. But it's not going to be just one video. It's going to have to be several because there's so many different levels to it. And it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. I've got people that have done the research, groups of actual professionals that have dug into this so deeply, and they put together this, and they're not getting the traction that they deserve. So all due credit to them. I'm going to make sure shout out their work. But what they have found out, I did validate and verify. And because I didn't believe it, I'm like, this can't be true what they're saying. They've got to be all on these 4 individuals that have done all this work. I'm sorry, I'm pulling my pants leg down over my sock. Have got to be like hallucinating. How can they say all this and not get worried that they're going to get sued? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, it's all true. This is actually true. Like, what in the actual hell? Sandra Birchmore, that could have been prevented. Oh yeah. And then they don't even talk about what I went back and dug out, which is, where Canton was 10 years earlier when these guys start. When they start the program, what were they doing and how were they in the news? And what kind of scandals did they have? And what was their position with law enforcement? Was it good standing? Or was it like in the news scandals? And now they're At the same time, being given youth, you're going to be in charge of the youth program. I was like, what reality are these people living in? And people are like, oh, Mama D, you're just too protective over your kids. No, 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 no. Willow's mama says, I'm not familiar with that case. All you just told me what it's about. Yeah, I'm going to bring you up to speed very, very soon. Very soon. Rabbit hole golf, right? Well, I fell into it in that one. That rabbit hole went far deeper than like I said, I found so much. I was like, how do you even start to explain it all and make it make sense and connect the dots in a chronological way that makes enough sense? We'll get there. Genevieve said, I had to read the book for myself, especially with all the coverage it's getting. According to Amazon, 5,000 copies have been sold and read this month. Oh, that's nothing. We got 27,000 people watching, and they're all going to be able to know what's in that book and tear it apart. Because, hey, gloves on. I ordered your book, Mr. Bloom. We're going to break it down. For real. Jennyville says, I find it interesting how the G's are saying Howard B. never spoke to them, nor anyone they know, right? And are not behind the book, even though it seems to point to BK. Who are Howard Bloom's sources? You know what? I can make a source. I could tell a friend of mine all kinds of stuff and then have them tell it right back to me and then just say, my source says, and I have to protect my sources. But it's hearsay, but my source says. Now, like on the prosecution's case of Stephen Avery, in the Avery case, Kathleen Zellner will absolutely tell you, don't come in here with your anonymous source shit. That doesn't do nobody any good. It's nothing. The killer could be an anonymous source. Kathleen Zellner, one of the best post-conviction attorneys there is, will tell you that. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. You have to remember, I can guarantee you, what it was that Tommy Boy said on that movie. He was like, I could poop in a box and then write guarantee on the box. And I can guarantee you it's poop in a box, right? Because it can be a load of crap. But, you know, I don't know if I made sense, but I know what I'm saying. Some of you know. Oh, and that TV movie deal already being talked about from the book. I'm going to go throw up. Jeez. Yes, Lorna, you are so right. Referring to Sandra Birchmore. They should have put a stop to the guy instead of passing her around, in my opinion. And was she the only one at that facility? Or the only one that they took out? Yeah, the book is like a game of telephone, right, Mr. Ifs? Oh, Mr. If says, sounds like the Netflix series Ivy Ridge. All right, my lovely, lovely Luz. I know it's a really short one today, but like I said, I was really hoping not only could we talk about the lack of how they can't have anything on the phone on Kohberger, putting him in the area. So all you guilters out there that are like, they have him hooking up to the girl's Wi-Fi during the crime. Okay, listen, Becky, quit. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to others. The PCA says they got nothing on Kohberger from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. So they can't say where Kohberger was according to his phone. They got nothing on Kohberger with his phone. That's a fact, according to the PCA. Which, you know what? That's probably the only thing true in the PCA, in my opinion. Truly. Thank you so incredibly much for tuning in. I know I would love to make it a lot longer, but we really don't have that much to discuss on this topic. Like I said, it's important, but when they don't even have a ping from 3 to 5, what are they left with but a big nothing burger? Just my opinion. Let me get you over here. We're going to give you your favorite song, and I want to say thank you so much for all the support that you offer our channel, me and your fellow 1111s. Be kind to yourself, and thank you, my beautiful starlights, for being starlights. We'll do it again in a week, and in the meantime, stay tuned. We're going to be working on the Sarah Birchmore, or Sandra. Why am I calling her Sarah? That's to remind me. Like, no, Sandra Birchmore. And how deep does that rabbit hole go? Right? I love you guys. Always. And I'm so thankful for you. I love you. To the moon and back. God bless you, my beautiful.
When a train whistles far away, and when the cold wind blows, when the lightning in your eyes reveals the darkness in your soul, the world will be reminded of what it already knows. 'Cause the days are gonna whisper, and the months are gonna talk, until the years yell out the truth. Time will tell, time will tell on you. No one may ever say a thing, but surely as the seasons change, you feel like every finger points at you, 'cause you're to blame. And the days are gonna whisper, and the months are gonna talk, until the years yell out the truth. And time will tell, time will tell on you. It's gonna tell on you.